Hi, everybody. In this video, we're going to be talking about your brain health and one simple practice that you can begin doing right now to improve your brain health, reduce your anxiety, and hopefully become more resilient in your total health during this time that we're living through the coronavirus pandemic. Today, I have with me my favorite brain health expert, Whitney Madden. I'll introduce you more fully to her in just a moment, but in case you don't know who I am, my name is Zach Comer. I'm the owner of Asheville Medical Massage, creator of the High Performance Aging Fitness Program, co-author of the book, High Performance Aging, the Over 50 Exercise Guide to Less Pain, More Energy, and a body that you can rely on for life. Our office is closed right now for body work and fitness training. So my team and I at Asheville Medical Massage, we're making it our mission right now to help you emerge from this pandemic healthier than you went into it, so that when and if you come into contact one day down the road with the coronavirus or whatever else out there that could really take its toll on your health, that you're in the best position you possibly can be, and at the very least, hopefully not weakened by this period of time that we're going through right now that's changing our lives. What we've done, we've created a 21-day challenge. It's fun and hopefully it's free, and hopefully will be fun for you if you choose to participate. It's called the 21-Day New You Challenge. Boost your immunity, reduce your anxiety, strengthen your brain, and emerge from the pandemic healthier than before. So at the end of this call, I will give you more information, Whitney and I will, on how you can participate in that, or just reach out to us, to either of us, if you'd like more support. So it's going to be something that's free for you to participate in, and it'll only take you a few minutes a day. And we're going to offer some cool prizes like free body work, free massages, and some free fitness training for those that do choose to participate. So stay tuned to the end of the call for more information about that. And this interview today is part of our support for that program. And with me, I'm so grateful and happy to be with Whitney Madden. I've known Whitney for years. She actually taught the Chinese medicine portion of the massage course that I went through 15, 16 years ago. Whitney's been an acupuncturist and practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine for 20 years. For 14 years, she ran a wellness center in Black Mountain called the Source for Wellbeing. And now she's also a certified brain health coach, certified by the Amen Institute, which you may be familiar with, Daniel Amen, and he's been a common face on PBS here in recent years. So with that, Whitney, welcome to today's call. Thanks for being here with me.
Thank you so much, Zach, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. One of my great passions in life is to get out information about brain education. And this is so relevant right now in terms of how we can keep our immunity strong and how we can keep our body, mind, and spirit really strong during this time.
So Whitney, can you tell us a little bit about the brain and why we should be thinking and talking about this right now?
Yes. So the brain is involved in everything that we do. It's involved in everything that we think, every belief that we have, every perspective, every decision we make, the relationships that we get into, the career choices that we have, our dreams, our personality, our judgment, our intelligence. So the brain is really the root of everything that we experience as a human being. Our perspectives are created and made through the brain. And your behavior today actually impacts the health, not only of your brain, but how you're going to age. So talking about the brain right now in these uncertain times is really, really important. There's a new science called the psychoneuroimmunology that was founded about 30 years ago. And it's actually the study of how consciousness shapes the brain's control of the immune system. And so that's why we're talking about the brain right now, because we want our immune systems to be strong and our family's immune systems to be strong. So just to give you a little bit of understanding, the subconsciousness of the brain can be divided in many ways. And so two ways is at the subconsciousness and the consciousness. So the subconsciousness is all the things that happen that we're not even aware of. It's our breathing, it's our driving, it's our digestion, it's our all of those things that we do automatically. And then there's the conscious brain that we need to engage more on. And this whole practice today is going to be focused on how to get our consciousness, that 10% of the driver of the brain, to actually be the driver versus the subconsciousness. So the subconsciousness I like to think of as a 5-year-old, and the consciousness is as I would liken it to a wise elder. So right now, especially, I am really interested in having as many people as possible have their wise elder driving the show.
Not my 6-year-old daughter, Lydia, right? We don't want her in charge. I know I don't. I love her to death.
Not so much. I mean, I think if I was 5 years old right now, I'd probably want to sit in a corner and eat cookies. And so,
Right. Especially if you really understood what the adults are looking at right now.
right. Why mommy and daddy are stressed.
Right. Why daddy's in the cold basement instead of it doing on his computer instead of at the office. Yeah.
Exactly. So we really want to engage our consciousness. So I'd like to just give a little bit of background about the brain. One thing that I'm so passionate about is teaching people about the brain, because we don't, we are taught sex education, we are taught drug education, we are taught how to do math problems, we're taught how to drive a car, but we have never been taught how to take care of our brain. And our brain is the single most important organ that makes us who we are and gives us the human experience that we have. And so now is a really good time to learn about brain health. So the brain is just is between 2 and 3, it weighs about 2 to 3 pounds. It's about 2% of your body weight. And it actually, when we eat, it actually consumes 20 to 30% of your calories. So I really want you to think about that in terms of when you're looking at a plate of food, about 1/3 of what's in that plate of food is going to go directly and specifically to your brain.
That's remarkable. You think about the size of the brain relative to the rest of your body, and yet it's consuming 20 to 30+% of your calories, 20 to 30+% of what you're actually eating.
Right. And so what we're eating actually is so vitally important. You hear about, you should be on a healthy diet and all of that. But if you are not putting in good, clean fuel into your brain, then you're going to cause yourself problems. Your decisions aren't going to be as good. Your relationships aren't going to be as good. There's going to be career issues. All of these things fall out from this taking care of, in Chinese medicine, what we call the root.
And wouldn't you say right now that we should be especially aware of this, because so many of us are locked in at home. It's hard to get out and get groceries. There's probably a cabinet stocked with plenty of processed foods that are high in preservatives and sugars and things that are not good for us. And it's just very easy to overeat right now, over snack, particularly things that aren't healthy. So, I mean, just in these few weeks that we've, spent at home, and there may be many more to come, I think it sounds like it's really important to be aware that we could be fueling our brains with some really low octane.
Absolutely. And that's going to affect our immune system. And so, you really, I think it could be easy to eat unhealthy right now, but I think it could be just as easy to eat simply. And so really focusing on getting as many colors of the rainbow when you're looking at your plate of food. You can still eat and order whole food. It doesn't all have to be processed. You can do beans and rice and, different color beans, and, if you any veggies and fruits that you can get a hold of, to put those on. But it's really, really important. The other thing that we know about the brain is that the brain, again, just 2% of your body weight actually uses 20% of your oxygen and blood flow. And so it's really, really important if you have sleep apnea and you're on a CPAP machine, to make sure that you are using that, because if you're not, you are losing oxygen in your most important organ in your body. The other thing is that by mass, your brain is 60% fat. So the days are gone of thinking that low-fat diets are good, because they are actually bad for the brain. So you want good fats like walnuts and avocados and olive oil and things like that. The other thing is that just to kind of give you the ability of our brain that we haven't even touched on the capacity of, is that the storage capacity of a brain can actually handle 6 million years of the Wall Street Journal. And so if you think of how long it takes you to read one Wall Street Journal a day, and to have the capacity to memorize and store all that information, that is how powerful this tiny little organ is in our brain. And we must be mindful, respectful, and falling in love with our brain.
6 million years of every day of the entire Wall Street Journal.
It's mind blowing, right?
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around that. That sounds like a lot. A whole lot.
I mean, it's the most complicated organ in the universe, and so we really want to be able to take care of it.
Is there anything else regarding things that could be harmful or damaging to our brains that we should be really aware of and thinking about right now in terms of our daily behavior? I mean, we're going to talk in a moment about a specific thing that we're going to recommend that folks start practicing. It'll be part of the challenge as well. But is there anything else that you want to encourage folks to really be aware of in this moment regarding their brain health?
So in regards to the brain, it needs many different things. I mean, sleep is number one priority, getting good quality sleep. And if you're not, then getting on a telehealth conference with an herbalist, Chinese medicine practitioner, a Western herbalist, call your doctor. Sleep is really, really crucial. That's the only time that the brain actually gets washed out and releases the toxins from the day. The other thing that happens during sleep is that the short-term memories that were made that day actually get moved over into long-term memory. So if we're not getting sleep, we're actually losing memories. So that's.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to ask you about something I've read one time. I'm wondering if this is true or somewhat accurate, that over the course of our day, as our brain is using all this energy and creating metabolic waste byproducts from that it's literally swelling over the course of the day up to maybe 20% its starting size. And that's during our sleep, particularly the deeper cycles of sleep, where the brain is dumping all that out and going back down to its normal size it should be. And then if we're not getting enough sleep, then our brain is literally swelling and not flushing sufficiently to actually return to its normal natural size. And that over time can cause potentially lots of ill effects for the brain and the rest of our health. Is that somewhat true?
Absolutely. And when the brain is inflamed, our behavior, our learning, and our mood, all of the things that make us us, are going to suffer. And if it happens over long periods of time, then that's when mood disorders, learning behavior pattern disorders, emotional disorders, all of those things accumulate. So absolutely. Yeah.
To me, that's just impactful, that image of like a brain that's literally swelling over the course of the day,
right,
with, metabolic waste products that are going to create inflammation if they don't get flushed out during the sleep cycles.
Right. I mean, I think of sleep as the time of washing our brain. I mean, that's
washing our brain.
Washing our brain. It's in the washing machine, and it gets all the gunk gets taken out.
Yeah.
So it's really important to have good sleep. And so, and that's the other thing in regards to the brain, is it needs different things. So it needs movement, because movement creates more oxygen availability and blood flow to the brain. And it also needs quiet. So it needs that meditation, that quiet time, and it needs learning. So it needs to be challenged. And so it needs different things throughout the day.
So can you tell us a little bit about how the brain actually takes in information, and how that can be essentially be digesting stress?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So our brain takes in information subconsciously, and if you kind of think of it as a 360-degree view, it is the transmitter and the receiver of all the information that's happening in our environment. So it comes in via the five senses: the taste, the sound, the smell, the hearing, feeling. I think of it as seven senses as well, which would include movement and body awareness as well. So when we are in fight or flight or anxious or chronically stressed, the brain calls in the resources to specific parts of the brain and body for the blood flow. And so we can tell if we are stressed, if we have cold hands and feet, insomnia, poor appetite, feeling anxious or uneasy. So these are the signs that the body is ready to run from the proverbial tiger. And what's happening is that we are taking in our brain's taking in information via the seven senses. Our subconscious, the whole purpose of our subconscious is to keep us safe. It's a survival mechanism of human evolution. And so it's really important for the subconscious to go down all the what ifs, all the rabbit holes that we are all going down right now. What if my family member gets sick? What if I have to go to work? What if my elder parent gets sick? You know, what's going to happen? And so our subconscious is running all of these scenarios so that I can be ready to then jump and make a decision. So what we want to do is we want to come into the present moment using all of our senses as much as possible. So even just right now, as you're listening to this, if you can just take a breath and feel into the chair that you're sitting in, feel where it ends on your legs, on your back, where the support is, feel the fabric of the clothing that you're wearing. Are you hearing a dog barking in the distance? Are you smelling a wood stove going in the neighborhood? Pay attention to all of the details using all of your senses. What am I tasting right now? What am I hearing? What am I seeing? And you don't have to worry about, the brain is still going to scan and still going to make sure you're safe. So you don't have to worry about that. The subconscious is still going to run. But the more that we can bring it to the present moment, the better off that we'll be.
And I told people at the beginning of this call, we would give them a specific recommended practice that could support brain health. And we're talking more specifically about why it might do so as far as bringing in the five senses. Can you tell us about the eye ritual that you discussed with me?
A ritual is a pause in time where we become more present. So we use rituals in all different ways. We use them in celebrations, life celebrations, and people dying, and religious circles, to process grief and to experience life more fully. And so the benefits of ritual is that we reduce our anxiety, we build our immunity, we help process grief, it brings us comfort, it brings us stability, it calms our nervous system, it boosts confidence, it provides structure and routine during uncertain times, and it gives us choice for something to control when things feel out of control. And a lot of times it feels like it's connecting us to something that's greater than ourselves. So for example, a cup of coffee is a ritual that many people have in the morning, and they're using all of their senses, right? They're using their smell, their taste, the sound of the coffee maker, the touch of their warm favorite mug, the feeling that everything's going to be okay in that moment. It brings us really to the present moment because it utilizes all of our senses. So one of the things that I think is really important right now is we are really highly visually overstimulated right now in terms of our vision sense. So we're looking at screens, we're looking at the TV, we're waiting for the next newscast. And so this ritual actually is going to take care of a lot of different scenarios that are going on right now. I'm a multitasker to the nth degree. This takes care of a lot of things all at once. So before screens came online and to be used as much as they are right now, we used to blink about 10 to 20 times per minute. And now we're blinking less than 7 to 5 times per minute.
Wow, that's like what, one third to one half, or maybe
Yeah.
one quarter even as
Yeah.
much that we're blinking per minute. So what
Right.
can that do? What type of effect does that have on, does that affect our eyes? I'm assuming the health long term.
Absolutely. So what it does is it causes dry eyes. The eye doctors are seeing eye problems that used to be people in their 70s and 80s are actually now in their 40s. So if we're not lubricating our eyes by blinking frequently, we get headaches, irritability, anxiety. We have other eye problems. So what this ritual does is for 10 minutes per day, you can lay down, you can find an eye pillow, or you can use a neck pillow. You can use a sock with a bag of rice or beans in it. And what you do is you lay down and you put your timer on for 10 minutes and you put your iPad over, not your iPad, you put your eye mask on for about 10 minutes. And what you're doing is you're using the senses of touch, you're using the sense of pressure and heat. You can use music here. You can listen to a guided meditation. You can have total silence. You can light a candle. You could put a flower essence on the eye mask itself. You can go through feeling your gratitudes for that day. And all of this will calm your nervous system, give your eyes a visual break, increase lubrication in your eyes, and help to decrease anxiety. And while you're doing all of this, this is absolutely boosting your immune system. 10 minutes a day.
And we're going to, just to be clear, we're going to take this iPad,
Right.
and we're going to heat it up, right?
Yes.
So that we have that warmth, that sensation.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that just the heat on the eyes, as I understand, can have some positive effects as far as helping encourage hydration, circulation back to the eyes that may be getting dry from lack of blinking enough.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Great. Well, that's a lot. So you offered a number of great ideas to kind of that we could stack on top of the basic ritual. But the basic thing here that you're suggesting is 10 minutes a day, heated eye pillow of some sort, and maybe gratitudes, maybe quiet music, maybe some breath practices, anything else that you already have in your repertoire to help calm your system. And you're going to give us in a separate video, we're going to have access to how to make an eye pillow for yourself or one of these heated pads if you don't already have one handy.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I'll have that on my Facebook page. We'll give you that in just a minute.
Okay, great. Anything else you want to say about this ritual?
No, I mean, I would just offer, I would invite everybody to sit down after they watch this call and just sit for 5 minutes and just write down all the different types of rituals that you have in your daily life, weekly, monthly, yearly, celebrations, and just really start to think about how you use and how you experience those rituals in terms of utilizing all of your senses, all of your 7 senses. And just the more that you can become aware of it, of using more of your senses throughout the day, what am I hearing? What am I smelling? You know, all of that. The more you can do that, the more present you can be, the more you're building your immune system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. And as part of this 21-day challenge, the foundational element each day is to take 10 minutes to do something for self-care that you've dedicated relevant to the special time that we're in, these unique circumstances. So why don't we go ahead and tell people how they can get more information about the challenge, or how they could reach out to either one of us if they'd like to do so after this call.
There it is.
If you want to reach out to us directly. And in the middle of that is the the title of the Facebook group that's recently created, the 21-Day New You Challenge, Emerge from the Pandemic Healthier Than Before. And that's my phone number right underneath that. In case you want to reach out to me directly, feel free to give a call. Well, thank you, Whitney. This is, I've enjoyed this. You've given us a lot of great things, covered nutrition, covered sleep, covered the eye ritual. So folks, don't be overwhelmed by any of this. If there's one takeaway, we'd like for it to be that it doesn't take a lot necessarily to start doing some simple things to improve your brain health and consequently support your immunity during this time period. And we've gotten some great ideas from today. And feel free to reach out to us if we can support you further.
Yes.
Thanks, Whitney.
Thank you so much, Zach, for this opportunity.
All right, we'll be in touch. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.